Hello. Today I would like to share with you my thoughts on people who talk junk about the pawn industry. I work at a pawn shop. I hear a lot of people say that pawn shops are a scam, that we completely charge people way too much money, and that we try to steal people's merchandise for low and sell it high, and this is simply not true. First of all, in a perfect world, yes, I agree, pawn shops would not exist. None of the credit lending agencies would exist. There'd be no credit cards, no banks. You would either have enough money to buy what you wanted or you didn't buy it, or we would live in some kind of Star Trek era where everybody in humanity worked for the betterment of humanity instead of worrying about money. We would all just work together and make things happen. But that's never going to happen. So the way a pawn shop works, for those of you who don't know, you bring us an item of value, say a laptop, and you want $100. We give you the $100. You pay us back that $100 plus interest. You get your item back. Or if you don't pay it back, then you don't get your item back, and we sell it to try to recuperate our money plus extra. So, for example, in my state, the interest rate is 22%. So if I give you $100, you pay me back $122, $22 every 30 days, and you get it back. We have 90 days to get it back. Every payment that you make gives you a 30-day extension, so you can always be 90 days behind in payments, but that'd be the most that you can get behind. You can also pay more than the 22 and pay into the principal. Say, for example, in the first 30 days you pay me $50. Well, then 22 goes into the interest, and then 28 goes into the original 100, which means you only owe me 72 more dollars. And then next month the 22% will be based off of 72 that you owe me. I hear a lot of people say that we are there to rip people off and that people that go to pawn shops don't have enough money and it just puts them in a worse financial situation. And this just isn't true. I have all kinds of customers coming for pawns. We have, of course, your low end people who just need quick money for crack, but we do have doctors. I have doctors come in and pawn a Rolex for $1,000 or $2,000. Everybody needs money. We are there to give people money when they need it instantly. Not everybody can go to a bank and get a loan, especially a small loan. Say you need $100 for a quick car repair for the weekend. No bank is going to give you $100. It's a waste of their time. So we are there to give people the small loans that they need when nobody else will. And you say, okay, what about your friends or family? Well, not everybody has friends or family that you can just give $100 out like that. And even if they do, you are taking the risk by giving that $100. If your friend doesn't pay you back, you just lost $100. At a pawn shop, if they don't pay us back, then we have ourselves covered to sell items to make that $100 back. So the other complaint that I hear is people say that we rip off drug heads or kids who steal from their parents. We try to buy your grandma's $10,000 ring for $50 and then we sell it for $10,000. Again, that's just simply not true. First of all, most people's conception of what something is worth is greatly disproportionate to what it really is. You know, people buy a $500 Xbox and they say, well, it's $500, so it's worth 500. No, it was 500 new. That was 2 years ago. Right now, they're like 249, 299 new, and they'll come with games. Or, for example, a ring. People say I paid 10,000 for this ring. I got it appraised at 20,000. You want to give me 1,000 for this ring? That's a ripoff. Every market is different. When you go to a rural town, do you think a high-end sports car is going to be worth as much as a tractor? No, they don't care about your high-end sports car. They're farmers. They're backwoods people. They want stuff that can go off-roading. Same thing for rings. I work in a very highly populated military town, which means there's a lot of divorces and a lot of the young people in there aren't that rich. They can't just afford 10, 20, $30,000 rings. So when people come in and they have this huge $20,000 ring, they think it's worth 20,000. We have beautiful rings that we can, excuse me, we can barely sell for a couple of thousand. And when you go to a jewelry store, they have a high markup because most customers pay on financing, and so they mark up the jewelry a lot so that the people who don't pay off their rings, the people who do pay for the people who don't. So we've been doing this for a long time. It's not something we don't just come up with a number out of our ass. So we know what something's worth. We know what, and more importantly, not only what it's worth, what we can sell it for. Because at the end of the day, something is only worth what one person is willing to sell it for and another person is willing to buy it for. So again, the next continuing on, we have people say we pay $50 to crackheads. We buy a ring for $50, try to sell it for $10,000. If something is very obviously stolen, like when you have a young kid come in with fine jewelry, you know it's not theirs. When a crackhead comes in with a brand new TV in the box, we know they just stole it from Walmart. We're not going to give them any money. We're not going to try to hide it because we have to wait a week to sell it. You know what happens? Every once in a while, one falls through the cracks. You don't know. They don't look that bad. You think, okay, it's legitimately theirs. And the cops say it's stolen. We have to give it to the cops. We just lost that money. The way it works is we get to sue them and we get to get restitution in the court case. Restitution means they pay us back what they can when they can. So say you gave $100 to somebody. The average restitution is like $5 a month. They have to pay you back $5 a month until their debt is paid off, which means for $100, that's 20 months. That's almost two. That's 1.5, almost 2 years that you are not going to see your money. And that's if they pay you back. Let me give you a little secret here, right? Crackhead needs $100 for crack. They don't have any money, so they steal something for $100. Then with that $100, they go buy crack. How do you get $100 out of somebody who had nothing to begin with? That's right, you don't. Once they get that $100 and they spent it on their crack and their hit, you're never going to see a dime. Most of them are career criminals. They will go to jail again. You just literally threw $100 in the wind. So we don't make it a habit of buying stuff from teenagers or crackheads or obvious stolen stuff because we are literally just throwing our money into the wind. We'd rather as well just take that money and wipe our asses with it. Wiping our ass with that $100 bill would be more useful than giving it to a crackhead to go buy crack. So we do not make it a habit of buying cheap shit. And other people say that we take stuff and we hide it from the police. We try to take it under the table and don't report it. That's a blatant lie. The police audit you. They can come in your store at any moment and want to check through your stuff. Do you know what you get for taking something without logging it in? You don't just get a, okay, don't do it again. You will be sued. You can be jailed. You can get charged with misdemeanors. You can lose the ability to work there. If you're the owner, you can lose your license. Do you think it's worth it for $100? Hell no, it's not. It's not. So I don't know what people just come up with this shit out of their ass that we just take stuff under the table and hide it. Yes, you're going to have your bad apples. Every industry does. You're going to have those people who do that. But as a rule of thumb, a legitimate business owner doesn't do it because you can go to jail. I'm not going to jail for a freaking $100 profit off an Xbox. It's not. My life is not worth jail for $100, and it's not even my company. I'm not going to throw out shit away. So, I mean, that's just people talking out of their ass. And even though you explain to them, they just start immediately blowing you off and don't believe you. I don't know what to tell you. This is the truth. If you don't believe me, you can look up the laws in your own state for what the punishments are for taking stuff under the table. You can look up your own pawn industry rules in your state and see what you have to do to get your money back from stuff that's stolen. So I mean, that's really it, man. It doesn't happen. We don't give people rip-off prices. We give them a fair price so that we know what it's going to sell for, and we want people to come back. We have many repeat customers. They tell us that we have changed their lives and we have helped them in a desperate situation because, again, for you, $100 might not be a big deal, but when somebody needs $100 for the weekend for some emergency that popped up and we give it to them, they come back again and again because the banks won't give it to them. Either their credit's bad or the amount too. You can't just go to a bank and get a $100 loan. It's too little for them. They're not going to make any money. So we're there. We give people money that they need when they need it. And if they didn't like it, they wouldn't come back. If they didn't need it, we wouldn't be in business for 50 years. Other pawn shops would be out of business. That's just not how it happens. They stay in business because it's a necessary evil in society. And if you were to shut down all the lendings like pawn shops and payday loans, you're not only hurting the people who need it, you're hurting the community because there's people who work there. You're getting rid of their jobs to spend money back into the community. You're getting rid of the banks that the pawn shops and other people that borrow from to get their money in the first place to give out to people. You're hurting them. It's a trickling effect. You can't just take it out of the equation. Every state has pawn shop regulations. It's not just a business you just come up with. The state understands that pawn shops are a legitimate business and they have many regulations on what you can charge, how long you have to hold merchandise before people can lose it. I mean, it's if you don't like it, the state doesn't care. Like they understand that it's there. It's not like I'm selling drugs on the corner and the state says it's illegal. The state has very clear guidelines on how to start your own pawn business. Um, if you have any questions on pawn industry, excuse me, if you have any questions on the pawn industry, you can comment below. I'll be glad to answer them as best I can. Thank you.